Okay, we're live now.
Yay!
All right.
It's the yay for me.
Everybody, make sure you tweet.
What's that? Yeah.
Tweet
Just
and
tweet on
Instagram
my
story.
account so I can retweet it.
Yeah, that works.
Hold on, it's not showing up on.
Do you want me to do it or you do it, Mayana?
You can do it because I'm trying to find the. Oh, never mind. I just got the notification.
Oh, I see. I just got the notification
I'll
too.
do it.
Period.
While I'm sending this tweet, if you've read the book, what did you give it?
Yeah.
Everyone in the comments.
Yes. What's
What did
your
y'all
rating?
give the book?
Yeah, what's everyone's rating, and then everyone in the stream say their rating as well. So
Mhm.
I gave it 4 stars.
Oh, I gave it 3.
I gave it 3 as well. Oh, sorry.
I gave it 3.5.
I didn't rate it, but if I were to rate it, it'd probably be like a 1.
Not bad. T.
Wait, what did she just say?
I said I didn't rate it, but if I were to rate it, it'd probably be like a 1 star.
Silent. Please go on.
No, we're talking to the people. Please don't have me start.
Yeah, wait. Let's let the responses come in, and then.
Okay, Capri here.
Yeah.
Oh, am I?
Hey, Capri.
Hi.
Okay, so what do you rate the book?
Hello.
Monty said, "Let me
Can you
leave
hear
now.
us?
I'm weak."
Yeah, you're good. You're good, Capri.
Okay.
What did you rate the book?
All right. Oh, child. I gave it. I think I gave it full stars, but I think it's really like a 3.75.
It's not 7.5.
7.5. How much is bigger? Child. I'll make this bigger. Okay, we're gonna leave it like it is.
Are you on the computer?
Yeah, I'm on the computer.
I'm seeing a lot of like 3.5s and 4s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did anybody give it like
Yeah.
a 2? Somebody gave it a 2. I saw somebody give it a low ass.
I see
Rating.
somebody.
Yeah, someone give it 2.
Oh, child, I wrote notes.
It's not getting upset at us.
Oh, I found it.
Oh,
Period.
2 stars.
He gave it a 2 stars for me.
2.5.
I can't say 2 stars because
4.5.
I can't co-sign this because
The only thing I can say is 2 stars would be the characters. Like, not all the characters, just some of them was like getting on my last damn nerves.
ooh, Capri ready to jump into it. Hold up, let's give the people
Real.
a chance. Because y'all know we won't stop talking.
No.
I'm ready.
Right.
It's okay, Gabriella. We understand.
Yeah, I was just reading that comment.
Mm-hmm.
Monty, please.
Please.
Monty, please.
None of this. Child, I don't want to click nothing because I don't want to do nothing.
It does have its 5-star potential to me.
Does everybody have the book so we can take like a corny ass thumbnail?
Oh,
Just so that,
Wait.
damn, I was gonna say, just in case YouTube picks one, we have one where we don't look crazy.
Oh, wait. I gotta find mine.
Now y'all running. We're giving more people time to come.
Under development of Amira's character, I kind of agree with that comment.
I agree
Yeah.
as well.
Okay, period.
I agree with
Yeah,
that
right.
comment.
Mika, you
Okay,
ready?
y'all ready?
No, wait, hold on. I gotta get the book. Wait. Gotta go on Audible.
Child, if you don't look up the Just Petrified Age on Google.
The screen, yeah, the cover. Wait, let me get this from my Instagram too. Oh,
Who's taking the picture?
nobody. Y'all screenshot this and somebody send it to our Instagram.
Somebody send it to us.
Wait,
Anyways,
wait, maybe we should take a picture of this for our You know what?
can we start
We
live
just
show?
posing, but who's
Failures.
taking the picture?
Anyway, we'll get screenshot that later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Monty said, I don't think Amira was underdeveloped. She just wasn't the protagonist.
She was underdeveloped.
She was
underdeveloped.
underdeveloped as hell. She was underdeveloped
As
as hell.
hell. I
Wait,
don't know
who
where
was
he
it?
got that from.
Who was Amira again?
Hell.
Not who's Amira again. The main character. So how is she not the protagonist?
Oh,
So who do you think was the protagonist then, Monty?
Yeah, I'm not understanding.
let me go get my food from the oven.
I don't
I mean, I think it was both Alex and Amira, actually. I mean, it is.
Yeah, but I think
Obviously,
Well,
Monty
yeah.
was the protagonist.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Jocelyn?
Also, if I freeze, my Wi-Fi been messing up. So I'm sorry.
It's storming over here.
Period.
So, I cut out.
But you were gonna say something, Jocelyn. You were like starting a sentence and then.
I said if I freeze, if my Wi-Fi be messing up.
Oh no, way before that, when we were talking about the protagonist thing.
Oh, I thought it was dual point of view. Well, not point of view, but like two main characters, which is Alex and Amira. But then I also feel like, what was his name? Kelly. He was like a really close secondary character. I think it just followed how the three of them like intertwined. So it's hard.
Kelly broke
It was very little fights everywhere in regards to like the point of views.
If anything,
I haven't read it. Read little fights everywhere.
I felt like, what's the child name? Amira. I felt like she frustrated me because I felt like there were so many parts where I was just like, she should be going off, or like she should be staying more, or like I didn't know what her reaction would be because I didn't really know like what her character really was. Like I wasn't like, oh, she's a pop off type of character, or oh, she's gonna, you know what I mean? She would just be like, and like the author literally would make her just be like, okay, like, girl, is that it? That's all we gonna get. Like,
she could have set us up because in the beginning she wasn't really popping off, but she was actually like sticking up for herself. Like the first scene in the beginning, with but she was sticking up for herself, and then the rest of the book, she's like, something happens, and oh my gosh, my heart started beating fast. I was so scared, but she didn't stay.
Yeah, she never did it. She never did it again.
Yeah, and I can understand her being a character that is kind of more afraid to say something or speak up, but I feel like it wasn't even just that. It was just like nothing. Like I feel like I wasn't giving anything in terms of personality. It was really hard for me to gain like who she was. Like who was she?
Yeah, like it was like she was. Oh, sorry, you can go, Capri.
She was a good ass babysitter, though. I'm gonna give her that. She had some patience, and honestly, I usually hate kids in books, but I don't know. I thought the little girl was like, she was just like clueless, and she just was like so spaced out. And I liked her little, I don't know, I liked her little blabbers. Like usually they like mad annoying to me, and really I think her character was supposed to be annoying, but I like low key felt bad for her the whole time. So like every time she like said random shit, I would just be like, oh, you know, or whatever else. She knew how to like. It felt like most of the effort in her character was put in the way that she did her job.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like when those parts came, like when she was like a babysitter, and when she was trying to explain something to the little girl. What the hell was the child name? Briere. That's terrible. That's a white name for real. Okay, Briere.
But yeah,
so when she was like trying to explain something to her, she was like really patient and understanding, and she would try to explain to her like in a way that she would understand. And like I felt like her character really jumped out then, but then when it came to like heavy issues or like important shit where I wanted her to like say something or say more, child, she wasn't saying nothing. And I'm like, come on now, especially the end. But we don't.
It wasn't like even just that for me. She was just like very one-dimensional all around. Like I just compared her to Alix, who, you know, would have good sides, bad sides. Or like stuff motivated her in life. And Amira had none of that. She had no desires to do anything. Like she didn't have any goals. She didn't want to do anything. She didn't have any feelings. Like she just kind of went along with anything and everything to me. And that's just the way that I kind of felt it. I was like, I didn't know her motivations for anything. And that's kind of what I need. And if you're going to be a main character, like what is your motivations for doing this? And I felt like we didn't really get that.
Yeah, I don't think she was an active participant in her life, like at all. Like things just happened to her and she just like let it go. And she didn't have anything to say about anything.
Exactly.
Like, even with her friend group, if you notice, she had like that little tension between her friends. Nothing. Yeah. She felt some type of way about her friend maybe like paying for everything. Nothing. Like she had nothing to say about anything.
Yeah, or the little comments her friend would say, she would just be like in the corner.
Yeah, it was like it wasn't even like she was like a soft-spoken person or anything like that. Like that scene where Kelly had said something that made her really uncomfortable. She didn't even she didn't even react.
N-word?
Huh?
The N-word?
Yeah.
The hard R. She didn't react. Like
hard R.
She didn't think like, oh my gosh, like this was so offensive. She said, oh, my heart started beating so fast, and that was it.
That's so like irritating too, because obviously when you're in that situation, not everyone's gonna react the same, but most people would look at that and be like, "What'd you just say?"
Right.
The story just continued.
I won't repeat it because you know, and it's like, okay, well then why'd you say it the first time? if you know, right?
Yeah,
and even that, she didn't even really internally process it. Like, even if she said anything out loud, she didn't even.
She just was like, "Oh, was he supposed to say that?" And then she was like, "Okay, so anyway." I'm like, "Child,
I'm gonna let that slide.
It was like, wow, that made me extremely uncomfortable, child. Anyway, so like,
right. Like, just the story just continued. I'm like, okay.
I saw someone say earlier in the chat that they think Amira was the way she was in order to show how like white people tend to use like black people for their benefit.
Yeah.
That's what Monty just said.
Yeah, and I agree with that in a sense. And I think that we didn't have to be given a main character with a whole lot of passion, or maybe someone who didn't know what their goals were. But I would have liked to know her feelings a little bit.
Right.
Like, it's about really one-dimensional in terms of just like, I never knew what she was thinking. I never knew her personality at all. Like, it's okay not to have goals and maybe have a drive right now, but to not know her at all was a bit hard as a reader.
Yeah. Did he take her to the bar? Because I thought they met at the bar. Didn't they meet up?
No. At the end, he took her to like this like white sports bar or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He just was a no-go for me from the jump. I mean, like in the beginning, I kind of was like, "Oh, he kind of cute," but
he would just do little stuff.
I didn't think he was cute even from the beginning.
Like, he did like those distasteful things, and I'm like,
right.
He needed to pipe down when he was recording. He was doing a bit much even then, and that's why I didn't like him.
I agree. I agree.
He had all the black DVDs. He's saying the N-word. He got all these black friends. He
Come on.
Blacked out. I'm like,
you said bring your friends, and he pulled up to the club with all the black people. I said,
I'm like, what's going on? Right? All his actors is black. I'm like, what's really good over here? Kelly, Keely, whatever the hell your name is.
It's like the signs were clearly there for her, and she was like, it was like red flag. She's like, actually, this flag is orange. Like, I can't.
Not orange.
Like,
not orange.
The signs were clearly there. Even for me, as much as I love white men, I was like, this man is not right. Like,
yeah, especially when the stories start coming out, I was like, child, what's going on? Like the story back in the day, the high school stories and all that. I was like,
the drama, because at first the book, I was like, okay, the book is really good. Then we got to the part where he says the N-word, which I low-key think was like the point where we're starting to like go up to like the drama part, and then it was
the climax.
The climax, and then it was the Thanksgiving scene.
Oh shit, that was a mess.
That was a mess.
That was a mess. Oh god.
Them meeting to the black friend, to Alex's black friend who was over here touching her hair, talking about some.
Wait, did y'all talk about when the husband went on the newscast and he y'all ain't talk about that? The beginning where it all started?
We just started.
Yeah.
Child, let's talk about that. Because the husband know he was wrong. Because it was like they were showing like, what was it, like prom videos? And it was like a black high schooler that was asking out this other girl, and he was like, "Oh, yikes," or something like that. And he was like, "Oh, he was the last one asked her father or something." Right. Oh man. And they start throwing rocks up. Was it rocks or eggs? Some shit.
It was eggs. It's crazy though, because the whole like book, it was just Alex like freaking out if Amira had seen it or like heard about it. And she was like, I hope she hasn't seen it yet. I hope she doesn't think any different of us yet. It's like, girl.
She didn't want to get exposed for her true nature. Like, child, like her internal thoughts. I would be looking around like she would be counting how many black people she had shown up to events and stuff. And I'm like, what's going on?
That was
like,
so disturbing. That was crazy when she was like,
well, I have 2 African American people. I'm like, what is going on, girl? Like, what is good?
It was her obsession with Amira was like really weird because it wasn't even like a fetishization, but it was. But like,
right, it was just like
invasive.
Yeah,
like her reading her text messages and seeing what music she listens to and all this shit. And I'm like, is it gonna play into the story? Like I thought she was gonna just like start, tricking out her little blog or whatever she'd be doing based off of like her personality. But like she really was just like snooping on this girl for like no reason. And I'm like, what? The hell
based on her personality, I thought Amira was going to die. I'm not going to lie. I was scared.
I was like, is this gonna be a thriller? I was like, what is going on?
This is some Get Out shit.
Right.
It was just like, and then the Thanksgiving scene, the Thanksgiving Eve, whatever, the scene.
Whatever,
where she's like, oh, Amira, like, how are you gonna, how's your family? Like, she's like, oh, I'm gonna see my family. And then she's thinking, like, well, Amira doesn't know that her flight might be canceled.
Yeah, she's like, but little did she know. I'm like, girl, what is going on?
I'm like, this is how I be stalking men. Like, this is next level creepy, girl.
Me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was bad. That was bad. And then she was like, the whole night she was trying to prove, like, this is not who I am. Like, I'm really not this bougie. Like, my friends aren't. And her friends were a little annoying, too. Like, just a little bit.
Right.
Like, oh, we lost Jocelyn. No,
I had to switch my Wi-Fi. I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, did y'all remember any of her friends' names?
Nope.
Okay.
No, I felt like they were a bit one-dimensional as well.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, we got the Asian, we got Black, we got the weird one that's obnoxious. Like, they were just like checking off shit in boxes, but it, like,
yeah,
I couldn't remember any of them.
Also, I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but the language that they use in the book, like the way that they talk, made me really uncomfortable because I know.
Wait, who? The Black people?
Yeah, like the way that they talked, it was like Black people talk like this, but at the same time they don't. Like
it was
it felt a little bit. It felt a little bit overboard and a bit.
It was over the top. Yeah. Especially the ending where she like showed her ass, and I was like, "Child."
Yeah.
Right. I was like, this.
Yeah.
I was like, she's doing this.
Or even
I almost gave it like a 3-star for that one because that scene alone, I was like, what is going on? Like
after Amira quit, you're talking about her friend going.
Yeah, that whole
scene. Too much. I was like, what is going on here?
This much. Is the author Black?
Who?
The author is Black. Yeah.
Yeah, the author's Black.
Okay.
Yeah, she's Black.
Not even on the picture.
It just felt like it was over the top. Like it felt really forced.
It sounded like
the audiobook worked better for the dialogue, and I agree, low-key, because for me, when I was listening to it, maybe it was because I was listening to it on like 2x speed, so it didn't really. I feel like if I was listening to it a little bit slower, I'd be like, "What is it?"
I think for me, because I also listened to the audiobook, it just made it sound even worse. Because I think if I would have read it, I could have read it in my own head.
The way I read it in my head and I hated it.
Yeah, even me reading it in my voice, I was like, it's a bit over the top.
I was like even them having just like normal conversation, like just girls hanging out, it just was like 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 Mad. What's that shit called? Mad TV skits? Like
not Mad TV.
You know what I'm saying? Like when they have like Bon Qui or whoever the hell they be having like a white girl playing a Black character. It felt like that. It just felt mad over the top. And I'm like,
in the very beginning, I did like it because it didn't start to get over the top. And I was like, okay, I can feel like I'm talking to my friends. But then towards the end and towards the middle, it was getting to be too much for me.
It was all the girl and all that.
Yeah, the neck roll. You could feel the neck rolls. And I'm like,
it was a lot.
What threw me off too is at the end when she like exposes herself and then her friend is singing "We Shall Overcome" and being like, "Hey," I'm like, what?
Right? That's when I start to realize.
It's really sending me.
I'm like, this is it for me. This is it. Like,
yeah.
I was like, if y'all don't just leave the house, like, come on now, that's a bit much.
Like for real, they could have bowed out a little better than that. I thought it was about to be a real showdown. I was ready. I just felt embarrassed. I was like.
All of this. Why did y'all give it a 3-star?
No, I personally.
What was the 3-star?
Like I'm talking about Amira.
Well, everybody has different, like rating systems or like reasons.
Yeah.
So like for me, I gave it 3 stars personally because I just feel indifferent towards it. Like it wasn't a terrible book. It wasn't a bad book. It was kind of something that I see the overall point of the book. I like the fact that it shows how white characters or white people in general will use Black people in their everyday lives and not see it in a way where they're like, oh, like I'm using you. They see it as them helping other people. But I don't like the fact that, Amira didn't have a personality. She didn't speak up for herself. Like there were just so many different aspects that I liked and didn't like that it just singles out to be 3 stars, which to me is just middle.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I like the overall point of the story and what they were trying to tell with the white people. And I liked like the kind of battle between Kelly and Alex. How do you say her name? It's not Alex. What is it?
They were both problematic.
Alex. Yeah, but they were problematic in different ways and how they was trying to expose each other when it turned out they were both problematic. I liked that aspect, but I didn't like the characters.
I agree. I gave it 4 stars, but I mostly gave it because it was like I really like the drama, to be honest.
I like the drama. I ain't gonna lie.
The drama was good.
I was like, hold on now.
Yeah.
Yes, and just like I liked how it shows that there are 2 sides to every story. Well, there's technically 3 because it's your side and the truth.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like they both really thought that they was the end was exposed, but they both really thought that they was in the right situation there and the other person was wrong. And then you get exposed and it's like, well, even though one person was wrong, the other person still ended up being terrible too.
Yeah.
I
was really shook by the end, and we found out about the locker.
Yeah.
I was like, not knowing.
I was like,
she knew the whole time, but she didn't even apologize.
I know.
Right. I knew her whole life. I didn't understand what happened.
So she knew she was cleaning the lockers. And so when she was cleaning the lockers, she was cleaning her ex's Kelly's locker. And then she cleaned the locker underneath. And it was the boy who ended up coming to her house. Like he had her original letter. And so she knew at the end of that school year that Kelly never got that letter. But she was still, as an adult, being like, yeah, you got that letter and you told them where my house was, this and that. Because I guess she just wanted some conflict in her life. Like, she wanted to have an origin story.
That's what I didn't understand. Because she was talking like Kelly ruined her fucking life. Like the bitch.
But she made that. She made herself believe that.
And she knew that. And she knew it wasn't intentional. She wanted to be a victim so damn bad. Yeah, and like she had already like. And honestly, I think the way that is his name Kelly or Keelan?
Yeah. Kelly. Yeah.
Kelly. Okay, I'm terrible names. Kelly. I think the way that he explained it to her, like. How can you call the police on like all these black kids showing up to your house? Like, you know how bad it's gonna look. I think she knew she was wrong for that shit. And because and towards the end when she found out that it was a whole big misunderstanding, her little piece, little victimization she was trying to grip and hold on to, it turned into shambles, and she didn't want to own up to that. Because that was the only thing that she could ride out on is the fact that she felt like someone invaded her privacy or he was telling her business or telling her address or whatever. That's the only thing that she had. So she held on to that. So when she found out that wasn't actually the case, she still wrote that shit out all the way to adulthood. Like,
right.
Literally.
Come on now.
When they met again, she was just like, she just stuck to it. And I'm
like, she did damn well.
Yeah.
She knew she was wrong.
Her character.
And someone said, what did you think about when Amira finally stood up to Kelly? It was okay.
When did that happen?
It was she was like, don't let me. Yeah, she was like, don't take me to a bar like that again and stuff like that. Basically saying like she didn't like his behavior, but it was a bit lackluster for me personally.
It was lackluster for me mainly because like the way the scene was set up, I didn't even know there was a problem till after. So it was like her emotion, she didn't really react to anything. So I was like, so after she's mad, and I'm like, oh, this was a white bar? I didn't even know. Like,
I didn't realize.
Set up for me to even.
Or even like the scene where she thought that Kelly released that video of her, she never fully like ever like really like expressed she was mad. Like her other friend kept trying to convince her like you should say something. She's like, I don't know. Like,
everybody had feelings for her even at the end when her friend was going off. Like Amira didn't have anything to say. The whole dialogue of her walking out the house when they were doing the newscasting thing, she was just like, so
she was
like she didn't have any feeling. Everybody told her how to feel, including her own friend. Like, she was just dry.
Even at the end with the interview, like she really thought she was doing something with that interview. And I'm like,
I was like, this is not really what we want now.
Yes, Annabelle. Those are exactly my thoughts. This book is not for Black people.
I don't think it's for Black people.
This added nothing to a Black person's life. I think the reason why I gave it 1 star is because I just felt like A, it wasn't for me, and B, the book is for non-Black people of color and for white people to see how they treat Black people. Like I didn't need to read it. I don't feel like there was anything that I gained from it. I also didn't enjoy it. I maybe would have liked it more if Amira was like strong. Better. Yeah, if she was better written as a character, I probably would have liked it more. But this is not for us. This is for y'all.
For y'all to read. I will say there's one type of Black person this is for. And what was that bitch's Malik's friend?
Tamara?
What the fuck?
Whatever the hell her name was.
The self-hating Black folks. This is for y'all too.
It was.
The one that was like, we can get you a better education. We can get you a better job. That one?
Yeah. She was like, you're the best thing that ever happened to her.
She was talking down to her, and I'm like, girl, what the hell's going on? Yeah, and she and the thing that aggravated me the most about her character was the fact that she kept coaxing Alex. Like every little thing that she did that she probably knew was wrong. She said, "Oh no, it's okay. Oh no, she didn't think of it like that, or handle it this way."
That ever happened to Amira. She needs this. You need her. Y'all need each other.
Right. Yeah.
She has that one Black friend that racist people have, and they be like, "I got a Black friend. It's her."
That's her.
Right. That's her. That's the friend looking around to the side. Yeah.
I agree.
Because they want to follow their feelings. When they know that they're wrong, they go to that black friend and they're like, "Am I wrong?"
For reassurance.
No, girl, like you're like, don't worry about it. It's like, no.
We all know that black friend.
Yeah, one black friend go off on your ass, then that's it.
Right.
Oh, I wanted to ask y'all about in the beginning where she was talking about like she was like picking apart like the way that she was talking. Like, do you think in certain situations it's important to code switch? Like, do you feel like it helps situations de-escalate, or do you feel like you do it in certain situations because it's like a comfort? Because I code switch sometimes, but it's like I don't feel like it helped the situation because I feel like people are already going to look at me and draw what they think is going to happen. Yeah. They're never going to draw their own little conclusion or whatever, no matter how I talk. But she was really picking herself apart. And then she was like, oh, no, he needs to hear the way that I speak. He needs to hear the way that I talk over and over and over again. And I'm like, does it really help at all? Because
I think that's just a whole bunch of respectability politics and how kind of Black people, I don't want to say trained, but we're like taught to say if we act this way or if we get an education or a degree, we're going to be treated some different type of way. But at the end of the day, if somebody's racist, they're racist no matter how you speak. So,
true.
I agree. Yeah. I think the same because that's what I was thinking. Like in the beginning, the scene where she, stopped by the cop or whatever, it's like she wasn't trying to like code switch or anything because she had already was like, oh, well, if they see me some kind of way, then like, if like it's not going to change anything. Of a white person, if they see you, they're going to see the color of your skin. Like no matter how well you talk, no matter how much you sound like them, like they don't care how you sound. They care about your skin tone and how you
right. And even if you do code switch, sometimes you're just going to be like, wow, like you're just so well spoken.
But you're so articulate.
In those situations, in the specific one I was talking about, it wouldn't have made a difference versus like school and stuff like that. Then people are like, oh, you're so articulate and like, like you say, like well spoken. But in a specific situation with the grocery store, like they wouldn't have cared. Like
exactly. Right. And I definitely think, there's certain situations, like even over the phone too. Like you can sound however you want over the phone, and then when you meet that person in person, they're like, oh wow, like I'm shocked, like I didn't know like you were.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, the fuck does being Black sound like?
Yeah, like growing up, my mom always had a Black voice on the phone. The white voice on the phone.
My mom too.
Yeah, mine too.
Important business call. Get that
like, who is that?
I'm like, oh, this is Jessica. Okay.
I want to see. So for people who aren't Black, like, what did you take from this book? What's something that like really you personally?
I'd love to hear that
because I didn't really get. I was like, this is all stuff that I've seen. I've seen people do this to me. I've seen people do this to my other Black friends. Like,
especially whoever gave it 2 stars earlier. Like, why'd you give it 2 stars? She wasn't Black. I want to know what was 2 stars for you.
Yeah. When I was reading the reviews, when I first started, I seen like a lot of people who.
Oh, not the white. Oh, never mind. Oops, I thought I was on FaceTime. I thought I was on FaceTime for a second. My bad. I'm tired. Anyway, somebody said nothing. They got nothing out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I rated it so high because shit. Not nothing. I don't know. I feel like I rated it so high because there were small things that were shown when it was like from Alex's like point of view where it like showed how it was an issue.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it was certain shit that she would do. And it's like, when someone would do it, you probably wouldn't even think anything of it. But when you sit down and you read it, you just like, hold on.
Because I feel like I saw some white people that are in my life. Well, not necessarily in my life, but that have been in my life. And some of these characters and their actions.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I definitely like that when saying white people see racism in others, but not in themselves.
Can we talk about how she left her child in the house? Or she was running after Kelly to talk to him.
Yes.
She left the baby in the house. I was like, what is going on right now?
That baby knew she didn't give a fuck about her. Like,
that's the way she didn't care about them babies. She cared more about Amira than them children.
She did.
Right.
And that's why Amira cared for Briar. That's it.
It was heavy favoritism though between the two little girls. I felt bad for the oldest. Because it just was like in the beginning she was irritated by her.
That scene where Briar was like, "Do you think I'm my mom's favorite?" That broke me.
That broke my heart. Yeah. I was like, how damn, like your child already know you already like picking favorites. She was like, oh, I don't like when she picks her, like she picks her over me. She picks her over me all the time. I'm like, damn, your damn baby already know you a piece of shit.
Right, it's the other two. Like you got two should not know any of this.
No.
Yeah.
I think another thing was that I think eventually got boring. For one, I like the drama wasn't enough for me. Like I want like Love and Hip Hop mess if you're gonna give me mess. So for me, the drama like wasn't enough. But I feel like the thing that the reason why I compared to like Little Fires Everywhere and why I probably would prefer that is because there was like an overall central plot outside of the two perspectives. So it wasn't just like the Black woman and the white woman. It was like also like there was, I guess, like a thriller angst aspect to keep the story moving along. And I wish this book had it. Like, I wish, like, this sounds crazy, but like maybe if Briar went missing, or you know what I'm saying? Like something to really give it. Yeah. I feel like that would have also added something more to it. Or maybe somebody drama.
Yeah.
Everybody was dry. Like maybe let somebody fight at Thanksgiving. I'd be like, yes.
I was waiting for that fight. I thought the children was there. I was like, oh, the children there, they ain't gonna fight for real.
And
but
all Briar did was throw up.
You know what?
I thought she was gonna choke or something. I'm like,
you know what the hell? There are so many issues that happened that I wish were even just spoke on more. Like at the end, when Alex, whatever the hell her name is, was like, oh, like get away from her once, you know, she's taking care of Briar and like helping, and she's thinking to herself, like, I'm the best thing that's ever, like, I literally took care of Briar more than you ever have, but that's never touched on. It's like said for a sentence and then it's moved on, but it's like that's what white people do a lot of the time. Not all white people, but white people do sometimes, where 1 minute they're fine and the next minute they'll try to paint themselves as like, oh, like get away from my child, get away from this person, like you're dangerous, like you're this, you're that. Other people will go them because they can do that.
Yeah, weaponizing her whiteness.
You should have checked her for real. I was waiting for her to check her ass right there, because when she was just like, oh, get away from my daughter type shit. And I'm like, girl, first of all, you left one of your children upstairs by herself. Second of all, you
your favorite child.
This one,
and
that.
She was her favorite child.
Your favorite child. You don't left her upstairs by herself, and she take care of her and make her feel more special than you ever have. And all she did was just say was, okay. I was like, girl, give her the business. Like, this was her time.
It's not because the fact that, like, she was low-key only a sitter for Briar, not even for the other child.
Yeah. Which was weird.
Yeah. It was weird.
I'm like, about Kelly, though, I feel like Kelly is so, he's a really interesting character, because I wouldn't say he's as bad as Alex, or they're just another level. But I think he's really interesting because you'll see a lot of like Alex's from like the older generation of like, you know, moms and like older white women. But Kelly is like low-key the quintessential white person and non-Black person of our day and age. Yeah. And I really want to talk about Kelly, like all of the, you know, the, oh no, I appreciate Black culture. No, I love Black women. No, I love Black music. And like, let me go ride for you. And she's like, he was sitting there like, Alex, you don't even understand what you're doing. And yes, he was right. He was right, but he didn't acknowledge what he was doing himself. So I definitely would love to hear everybody's thoughts on Kelly also in the comments, because I think a lot of people can relate to Kelly and they haven't even acknowledged it yet.
Yeah. For me, I kind of thought of them as the same but opposite, because they were like, you know, the flip side of each other, because as much as she didn't want to appreciate Black culture, but she wanted to appreciate Amira and have it within her life to be like, oh, I had this diversity, whereas he wanted Amira to sew along his whole Black culture, having a Black best friend and then Black
right. Because it's like he went out his way to like grasp onto Black culture. Like, you can admire culture and like embrace it, but you don't got to be like, I got to specifically date this type of person, I got to specifically have this type of music, this type of friends, these types of DVDs, like I got to know all the history of this and that. Like it just was like too much. Like he just was like just was doing too damn much. Like,
but then it didn't even show a deeper understanding, because he's sitting here saying the N-word with the hard R. Like, that's common sense.
He's the white guy in high school saying nigga with his Black friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
that's him.
Yeah.
And she let him saw the opportunity. He was like, this is my time. This is my time to shine.
And she him. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Why?
So he's missing the basic understanding.
Yeah. Because his next girlfriend, wasn't she Black too?
Yeah. I think he only dated Black women. This person said Kelly reminds me of the white guys that went to my predominantly Black high school, and I didn't go to predominantly Black high school, but it also reminds me of a lot of white guys that interacted with growing up.
And non-Black POC, because they're not exempt from that stuff too.
Yeah.
They love being like, not me, it is you.
Yeah.
I went to a predominantly Black middle school, and we did have some white boys sometimes, but I would high key forget they were white because they just
I forget
Black so bad, like, or even the white girls. Oh my gosh, the white girls, like, I would have preferred.
I had a lot of white girls in my school that swore they had the gel slicked back, they had the little baby hair, they had the big boobs. They just did too much. It was so over the top, and then they would be like it just felt like their mannerisms were like mimicked. You know, someone mimics you, like all that extra shit, and I'm like, that shit is so, like, even now a lot of celebrities do that shit, and they don't see anything wrong with that. Like
Gabriella asked a really good question. I just wanted to highlight about like the whole mammy thing. She said, "How do you think this book portrayed or added to the trope of Black women?"
Having to take care of white non-Black kids.
I think it definitely added to it because she tried to make it seem like she picked what's that y'all name, Amira, because she didn't know about her blog or she didn't know who she was. But it's like just her first impression of her, like when she was like, oh, when she showed up to the door, I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was like immediately as she saw her, and then like growing up, she also had a Black nanny, so it just was like some kind of. And then she had the whole uniform thing going too, and it was like a little it was like a little comfort for her.
Yeah, and she was like, "Who's a Black woman? Like I know, like this Black woman will take care of my kids because that's what a Black woman should do." And it's like, no,
like that's not how it works.
Black women should do.
Yeah. No.
And even the fact that she. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Tahir, because I was going to talk back on Kelly, so you can finish this.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think the major thing was we all have sympathy for Briar just because, you know, like her mom really didn't care about her. But the thing was, Alex was depending on Amira to care more about her child than she was. And I think that's really the issue. Like you're relying on somebody else's humanity when you don't have any humanity for them nor your own child. And that was really where the conflict came, because towards the end, I really was like, okay, Amira, I know you love this little girl, right? But like, you also like this job because it provides safety for you. You know, it's something you don't have to think about. She said that, I think, in the book. She was like, she doesn't have to think. You just do. You just move. And it was also a sense of like, it was like toxic for her as well because it wasn't pushing her to make any choices. Like she was safe in this house, and Alex made that choice for her. Even Briar, like she was just super tied up in a very emotionally like unhealthy way to this whole family, and it really did play up the whole mammy aspect of it. Like towards the end, it was her friend walked in. I think her name was Zora. What was her name?
I don't remember that girl's
name. She walked in during the interview. Literally, her first 5 minutes in the house, she said, "Girl, use a man.
You gotta leave." Yeah, she's like, "You gotta leave."
Seconds, and Amira was really like, "No, but like Briar, like no," and I was just like,
"What about the children?"
They were both emotionally codependent on each other, and I really just want to like highlight that aspect.
You think Amira was
the grocery store?
I don't know if you could necessarily say that if she was right or wrong as a Black woman, like in her space, because how a Black woman or a Black person in general reacts in that situation is up to them and how they feel. So I don't think it's right to judge whether they're right or wrong. But this kind of takes me back to my point that I wanted to make on Kelly, because the way he kept pushing her to do more and more as a white man made me really uncomfortable. And it kind of reminded me, not to be shady, but it kind of reminds me of the book community in a way, and how allies like to speak over Black people. Every time we like try to speak on something that's racist, a lot of allies try to go above and beyond to the point they're speaking over us and they're trying to tell us how we need to react. And
the reading
like
rush.
Just to get a pat on the back.
Kelly. What'd you say?
Just to get a pat on the back. They do that shit. I feel like Kelly had like a little bit of like a white savior complex. Like even with the situation from high school, it was like she was dead ass wrong for calling the cops. That made absolutely no sense. Anybody with common sense knew that made no sense. But I felt like he jumped to it. Like he ain't even blink. He was just like, "This is my time. I gotta save the Black people." Like he had to jump up and run down because he was like he trying to get cool with everybody that was in that little clique. And he moved way too fast. And the same thing happened when she was at the grocery store. He was like, "Oh, will he whip out my camera?" I mean, naturally, that's what everybody does now whenever something pops off. But he was just like really pushing her to like bring it out into the open. And I felt like he was just trying to do that to get like, oh, pat in the back, like, oh, thank you for like helping me do some shit, like, you know what I mean, like.
And it's just like, let Black people speak for themselves, like,
yeah, let her assess the situation how she sees fit, like.
And if she doesn't, like, let her not, because I know, like, a lot of times, like, you just want to forget something like that even happened to you, you know, like.
Especially
he took away her autonomy.
Exactly, and especially, someone right here said, and when he was pressuring her to quit her job, it's like, sir, she has no sort of income. Like, why are you pressuring her to quit a job? Like, he was right in a sense to what he was saying, but it's not his choice to make those decisions for her. And it seemed like a lot of the time he was trying to make decisions for her. And I feel like a lot of allies do that when situations come up.
Because they have that option.
Yeah.
And they need to stay in their place at the end of the day. It's like if it don't directly affect you, and it's not something that you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's not something that directly affects you as a creator or as a person, then just close your damn mouth. Like, you can cheer from the sidelines.
Right, like, we don't have that kind of privilege to just quit our job or whatever just because something happened to us. That's just our lives, and we don't get to just say, hey, I don't want to work here anymore. No, like, sometimes, like, as Black women, we have to suck it up and move on, and we can't make big deals of it. And I think that's just a part of why Kelly was really irritating me too, and just didn't get. He's like, well, bitch, what do you want me to do? Be homeless? I'm not living with you. Like,
right. Yeah. I think that's what he wanted. I think he wanted her to live with him, and I think that's what it was.
Yeah. And I think there's like a fine line between knowing that you have privilege as a white person to speak on something to going to speaking over people and doing a bit too much. And he was always doing a bit too much.
From the beginning of the book to the end,
Yeah, like literally, even from when he was recording, like, sir, be quiet and just record. Like,
he said that shit, and he was like, I got the music taste of an old Black woman. Shut the fuck up.
Hannah Banana's comment when Kelly tried to pass off as working class. Another thing that adds to it is the delusion of like privileged white people trying to relate to you, and it's like, you trying to minimize the privileges that you do have does not make me feel better as a marginalized person. Like, you're not helping me here. We don't need to relate on that aspect because we don't. It's not realistic. Like, he wasn't even viewing her.
And even if we was at the same place of employment, our situations are never going to be the same. Ever. Like, let's be real about that.
Yeah. I feel like that's why it became very condescending very quick. Like, stay in your place.
Right.
Yeah. I agree with this comment, but I feel like even for me, someone who like dates and like white guys, Kelly came off very weird from the jump. Like, just like paying attention to like a lot of the things that he said, like even the comment that he made about having the taste of an old Black woman. I would have been so uncomfortable. I'd be like, I don't think that's the thing to say. Like,
honestly, I really didn't catch on to his weirdness until like midway. I was like,
I feel like as a Black woman, like dating white men and stuff like that, that's how it starts off a lot of the time. Like, you think they're down for you and stuff, and then you notice that shit is low-key a fetish a lot of the time. Obviously not all the time, but
I've been in this situation with Amir before where I was talking to the guy and he got comfortable and literally said the N-word a lot.
Right.
So, like, I guess for me, I just, like, learned to kind of pick up on the signs of, like, him being like, oh, I have Black friends, they said I could say it. And I literally had to check him. I was like, just because somebody else said you can say it doesn't mean it's okay.
Period. I feel like even in dating situations, like, I've been in situations where, like, you talking to a white guy, and a lot of the times he only wants to talk about race. Like, he's always bringing up your race. And this is, like, weird. Like, it's weird.
Right. Like, can we have a normal ass conversation?
Right, like, why are you always talking about, oh, Black girls this, Black girls that? Like, it's
that's like the white dudes that be like, oh, I'm down with this world, I'm down with this, I'm down with that. Like,
like, can you just look at me as a person?
You're corny. Like, can you just look at the person? Like, it's not about the fact that you white and you looking for specifically for Black people. That shit is weird. Like,
it's weird.
It's weird.
I'm mad about the synopsis too. Somebody said that the synopsis on Goodreads is only about the first chapter. Like, that's so annoying. And I feel like it shouldn't even have been the first chapter, in my opinion. I feel like that could have been further along into the story, but it was just very weird that it happened. She went off and she never went off again. It was like this climax, but it was so out of place with the story. Right. Like, I feel like it didn't fit.
It didn't fit. It didn't. Especially her personality, because it felt like she just kept simmering down as the damn pages went on. I'm like, this is the same person. She just felt like she just lost any type of anything. Like, I felt like, I don't know. I just felt like she was just like, she was so damn dry. I was like, girl, do something.
Yeah.
This shit was just flying over her head.
I know we talked about like in the group chat briefly, like how she was just used as like a plot device, and that's just like, she felt very hollow because like she was the way the story moved, like, and that was the only piece I felt like she had, because like if I feel like we could have had the same story without her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been any other bitch. It could have, I don't know.
Literally.
It just could have been so general.
Anyone
it did
else.
Not, like, there was
it just needed to be a Black person.
Right.
That's
it. Real. It was just like a little stepping stone. I'm like, child.
Yeah.
And
I think that's what kind of
happen.
disappoints me as a I think that's what disappoints me as a Black person reading it. Like, damn, that's it from her.
Right.
And it could have been like the point, like that could have been what the author was intending, but I don't think it was marketed in that way.
But then that's why I think the book wasn't for me personally as a Black person.
That's why I gave it 4 stars.
I already knew
I'm like, I get
about
the point. Like I get what she was trying to do. I think I got what she was trying to do. That's why I don't know. That's why I gave it 4. Technically 3.5, 3.7.
It was also frustrating because like I understand like people probably won't believe it, but I'm somebody that I choose not to engage in a lot of nonsense just because I know it's not going anywhere. So I understood Amira's like hesitancy sometimes, but I also want to acknowledge that even if it is uncomfortable, if this is a person that is not Black that you're allowing into your space around your friends and to have an intimate relationship with you, it is your responsibility as a Black person to educate them if you are keeping them in your life.
I agree.
Like you don't have to educate a stranger, but the fact that she let like it continued because she allowed it to. She could have cut him off or corrected him. I don't know if he would have changed, but the fact that that literally wasn't said at all, like there was nothing really telling him that you shouldn't be acting this way. Somebody commented, they were like, I don't understand how he can have all these Black friends and nobody says anything. This is why Amira is a really good example of the Black people around him that don't say anything for whatever reason.
Yeah. Someone said earlier, they were like, if you want to pursue a relationship with this person, you need to be able to tell them when something makes you uncomfortable. And it wasn't the fact that Amira was uncomfortable. She never reacted in general. She never said it made me uncomfortable. She was like, oh, my heart started beating fast. Moving on, like she never acknowledged what he said. She never took in what he said. It just happened, and then she was just like, she didn't say, oh, that was so bad. Like, maybe I should say something. Like none of that crossed her mind. Like I wanted to speak up, but like. It just, the thought never crossed her mind.
Yeah, and even when Kelly said the N-word for the first time, like around her, like I remember one of the things she literally thought was, "Oh, like I'll just let it slide this time." But it's like, right,
like this time, sliding everywhere, wasn't it?
Next time,
right?
Slid every time.
Mm-hmm. Someone said it seems like the best part of Mia's personality was her relationship with Briar. I think the author definitely did that on purpose and just showing how Amira was always linked to some white person. That was the only time her personality came out was when she was linked to some white person.
And in service of this white child. Yes.
Right.
Definitely was intentional.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I like
good on that
with
point.
Her relationship with her friends, like it was still one dimensional. They went to the bar and that's it. They like that was their personality. Like they went out every night, and that
where were they?
I would have liked more
the rest of her relationship. Like I was
wondering
why her friends. Yeah, they're very opinionated.
Like one time.
Yeah, I'm like, where were y'all throughout all of this? How did everybody complains about their job with their girlfriends? Like how you didn't bring up to them before because it took her friend one moment to be like, this is messed up. Like how is this not brought up like before? Like what are these relationships? Like it's not real. I can understand keeping Amira dry in relationship to white people, but I'm like, dang, with her friends, girl.
Right. But just not even with her family too, because like at the end they were like, her parents were blowing up her phone like, girl, what's going on? And then that's it. Never came back.
I want to address this comment that's on the screen. It says, I saw somewhere that the reason for Amira not being a strong protagonist, it just showcased that it's not Black people's job to confront racism and that they're drained and exhausted, so they just ignore it. I definitely agree with this part, but I think for me, it's the fact that even with it, we're in her head. Even in her head, she's not saying, ooh, that's messed. Like she doesn't even feel like she has strong emotions within her head. So I think unrealistic and feeling exhausted and not wanting to always confront racism, but she has to have some type of feelings within herself.
Obviously, like as black people, we go through that all the time where we don't want to sit here and just explain everything. So we're just like, oh, whatever. But it's silent. Like she would just be like, oh, like okay. Yeah.
No, and like Tahira said, even with her friends, like, why are you not? If I'm on book Twitter and I see a whole bunch of shit that I don't want to respond to, I'm like, it's not my job. I'm at least gonna go to my friends. Like, this is annoying me, right?
Period. And we do that. Like,
I'm a vent to my friends.
you don't have to perform for others, and also you don't have to be in close proximity or close relationship with others where you're always educating them. It's not necessary. However, we're literally in her mind, and she didn't feel any type of way, and I'm like, is she a robot? Like, what is this?
Right.
But like the fact is, there was just no outlet. Like I will, like this happened to me. Like having someone stop you because you're babysitting a white child, like that literally happened to me. I didn't have any friends I could talk about, whatever. I had an outlet. I at least wrote about it. I did something. It upset me. Like as someone who could relate, I was like, this girl did nothing.
Yeah, she didn't handle, like the author didn't really talk about handling trauma. Right. And I feel like that was a big mistake for the book, because she really could have honed in on what it's like. The other part of microaggressions is not just hearing them and receiving them, but like really feeling that and how frustrating that makes you as a Black person. And because we didn't get that, it just felt very one-dimensional. Everybody says we see the microaggression, but we don't see how it affects Black people.
Exactly. And I think white people reading that, like they can try their hardest to understand, but they won't actually understand unless they know how it feels, and they'll never fully know. But at least reading about it and reading how a Black person feels when something like that happens to them would help them gain more of an understanding. And
I think that's why it fell flat for all of us. And we're saying, like, as Black people, we feel like this book wasn't really meant for us, because we've personally felt these feelings, and for us not to see it reflected in the book, it feels unrealistic.
Gabriella asked if we want to see this as like a TV show or like a mini series. Girl, just watch Little Fires Everywhere. Save yourself the drama, please. It's already a better show. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't.
Please, like, we don't need to see it, because unless they're gonna add that, like Amira's feeling. That's what I think we all agreed. That's what was left off. Amira, like her own feelings outside of her white people that she works with, and outside of her friends, like who she was, how she felt about being Blackness, and like that's what was missing. So unless they're gonna add that. If you added Miss Shonda Rhimes on the show, I don't know, girl, maybe.
Oh, that would kill me.
We might get
because she'd kill everybody.
Somebody said they heard it was a comedy.
A comedy?
It was a joke. It was a comedy?
I didn't laugh.
I did not fucking laugh.
Oh, what was a joke? I was like, what was a joke? So
the book was a joke.
The book was a joke.
Even the messiness in the book, the messiness was entertaining, but even I gave it a 4 because I was like, okay, and then what? Like it was like it was like
why was Alex so obsessed with Amira because she's Black?
I still don't know.
Like, I think it was just
that whole obsession was very weird.
But they were the story.
Like, wait, go ahead, Mika.
I was gonna say that goes to show that like that's how a lot of the time that's what we go through. Like white people just tend to be obsessed with Black culture, Black people, the way we love the music we listen to, and then they take on those aspects and then claim it as their own. For example, even with big lips, like the amount of times guys have like your lips, this and that. So then guess what the white girls do? They go and they get lips that look like ours, and then we're told that we're trying to look like white people, and it's like no.
Like y'all ain't have no damn lips.
Like that's the answer. It's really that simple, because we're Black, and like the way that y'all don't understand, and it seems not unrealistic. That's our life. People, we see it as the hotties. We see it a lot on our individual channels as a collective. People are really like America in general. The world is just grossly obsessed with Black people. Everything we do,
but then
trying to like get our. Yes, trying to get our validation. You want our opinions. You want to defend us. Like, it's like, girl, we're people. We're not just like on a stage for your performance.
Right. I mean, someone literally responded. I sent this to my friends the other day. Someone literally responded to my story. Hot chocolate, sexy mamacita. What does that mean? Hot chocolate.
Girl, not hot chocolate.
What is that, Starbucks?
Wow.
Like, what is that? So it's just a lot of times people will over sexualize us or just look at us and be like, oh, that's so different. Like I want to know more.
Yeah.
Why Alex was obsessed. It's just because she sees a Black person and she's like, wow. Like
it's like they're infatuated, but they don't respect the people. They want to snatch and grip every piece of the culture and don't respect the person. I'm like,
like the top, because like everything about Alex was performative. Like the very first scene when we introduced to her, when she's on the stage and she's giving that speech,
whipping the titty out.
Yeah, and then Briar cries and she's like, "What's?" And it was so it helped her so much. Like everything she does is for a performance. Like
it wasn't even because like wow needed her. She was like, She's gonna do it right on cue. I'm like, girl.
I think it's really important to see how this like kind of obsession with Amira came after Amira's trauma. I think this happens a lot with white people. They try to like hook onto Black people's wagon per se once they experience some type of trauma. And now I think Alex herself had this victim complex, so she kind of tried to make herself a victim because Amira was. Now she was really obsessed with Amira and everything going on with her after that.
Yeah. Not to relate this solidifies everywhere again, but
I haven't read that book.
In the show, there's a show too, but the white daughter, she hears a story about the Black daughter being discriminated against. And so the white daughter's trying to go to like Yale or Stanford or something. So she's like, what do I write in my essay? She took the Black girl's like issue and changed it into a series she changed it into something about her as a woman, wrote that into Yale and got accepted. Like that, I feel like that's what Alex, watch the show. I feel like that's what Alex did to Amira. She saw herself as a victim and she knew it was fake and she needed something to validate it. And Amira being like adjacent to her was enough.
Yep. Because even when she was digging into finding more out about her, she was like, wow, I really don't know shit about this girl. Like seriously, she didn't know anything about her until she needed a reason to like save her or like, you know what I mean? Like, if, like something traumatic happened to her, like, also now you want to find out more about her, or now you want to know why she does this, why she does that. Like, where was this energy when she was just like a normal ass person before something traumatic happened to her because of your dumb ass? Like, how are you gonna send your babe? First of all, let's talk about that. How are you gonna send your damn babysitter who is Black on her time off while she's at the club? You knew she was busy with her friends at the club to take your white child to a white ass grocery store and think that nothing is gonna happen. And think that nothing is gonna happen. Like how many situations she gotta be in for her to know that you can't be this damn dumb. You can't be this like, come on now. There's certain situations you can't put her in. And obviously she wanted to come and help you, but it's like you should have known from the beginning, that's your kid. All right, if she's scared, take her ass in the room and tell her to calm down. Like, why are you gonna call your babysitter while she out at the club and send her somewhere in an area that's really not safe for her? You should have known from the beginning that you shouldn't have did that. Like, that's common sense.
I hope that this allows people like, if you are that Black person surrounded by white people that don't know how to deal with these situations, if you're that non-Black person of color that has all of these Black friends, if you're that white person that even if you may have good intentions, like feel that your relationships with Black people are a bit one-sided, I hope this book really allows you to be introspective and look at things, because I'm not gonna lie to y'all, a lot of y'all act like this. We just gonna keep it a buck. A lot of y'all act like this. And it's hard to hear, but it's hard to hear, but it's the truth. A lot of y'all act like this. And even like I kind of mentioned before in regards to like the reading rush situation, which kind of stems into us even reading the book, like Black people were saying that something bothered us and it was just that, and then people took it and tried to perform for us and it got to the next level and that just wasn't cool.
Exactly. It's like it drowned out our voices because literally we were just like, oh, this makes me uncomfortable, I'm not going to participate. And then non-Black people were like, actually we're going to go so hard, like, and our voice, our message got lost along the way,
like, and didn't talk to us about how we truly felt about it. So I really just hope we're all looking at this book from the place that it needs to be looked at. Like, a lot of the stuff was intentional. Shout out to the author for making us so frustrated, and even to y'all, I feel like y'all are seeing the frustration as well. But yeah, this happens a lot more often than people are thinking. But I'm really glad that we had this conversation. This book is very complex. We could probably talk about this for a very, very, very long time. But if anybody has any like last like thoughts or opinions that we can wrap up really, really quick, we would love to hear how y'all thought about it. Have your ratings changed? That's a good question. Have your ratings changed after the live show?
I might have got Dr. Star. Okay, I might knock
that little star off.
I might knock the little star off. All right.
The messiness was still entertaining for me.
I still like
3.758235. Please.
I'm gonna still give it a 3. I'm gonna give it a 3. I gave it a 4, but it was really like a 3.75.
Mine's still a 3.5 because like I like the message. You know, that's why I rated it what it was.
Yeah,
it's still a 1 for me, but I didn't rate it on Goodreads because I know that this is really it can be very powerful for people. So I didn't want to mess up what she was trying to do with the book. So I'm just saying, me personally, I didn't read it, but I think y'all should read it.
You still wrote a review, didn't you, Tahira? Because I think I
did write a review. Yeah, I just didn't add a like number because I didn't want to mess that up for her. I appreciate what she was doing, and she did it well. Like, the fact that it annoyed me means that she knows how to write. Like, go ahead, sis.
Right.
Yeah.
Still a 2.5, 3. Went from a 3 to a 2/2.5. Okay.
Still a 5.
Mine's still
it's a 3 for me. Yeah, mine's still 3.
Let's give it a 3. I just didn't want to give it a 3 because the ratings were already so low. So I was like, I'll give it a 4.
Okay. Y'all give it a 4. Also, just to remind you that the book for next month is A Song of Wraith and Ruin.
Yeah.
It's YA fantasy, so y'all can take a break from the fiction.
Literary fiction. Please, thank God.
Thank the Lord.
Taking a break from the stress and having fun now. So
yes. Thank you for joining us. This was so much fun. It was so nice to catch up for everybody and talk and spill the tea. Make sure you're following the Hotties on Instagram as well as our Twitter, and that you're actually subscribed to our YouTube channel. Don't just be peeping. Press the button.
Period.
All right.
Okay, y'all. Is that a wrap?
Bye, y'all.
I think so.
Bye, y'all.